And we are live. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin pump, as I said, will have a bit of some relief rally. We will not be dropping 24/7. We will not be pumping 24/7, but a bit of some pumps within the market can't be turned out. Huh? So, if you look at Bitcoin right now, okay, as I said, it doesn't have to mean that Bitcoin will complete its W formation. Okay, look at the tops over here. I didn't say that it has to complete the W formation over here. By W formation, or meaning it was pumping back up, coming back down, and pumping back up. Because the W formation could be on the notion that we've bumped, dumped, pumped. So if you're able to test the $22,000 level within a 4-hour time frame, and then dumped back to the 20,000, which is the support right now, and then pump, it would have completed the W formation. But as of now, we haven't seen any completion of the W formation within the market. So we might have that bit of some retest of 20K, then we head back up. We just might, not we will. We might. But BTC seems to have been highly purchased within the 4-hour time frame. So is it a good entry also on altcoins? No, that's not a good also point also for altcoins. So we'll retest this upward movement where we are having the double top within the 4-hour time frame over here and over here. So we can have a bit of some retest down here within the 4-hour time frame over here, just to complete that W formation. And then from here, we might have that retest up surpassing the $22,100 level of BTC. Or if I can take it much lower, I will say at a point of even $21,900 level is a level target to look at on that point. So we might hit this double top over here, double top over here. We've already hit it now. Currently, we're just about to touch that as a week. Then from that $21,688, we might have that double top over here as a retest, and then we might pump back up. So this is within the 4-hour time frame chart. And I said on a long-term aspect, if we can be able to pass on a level of 22,500 to 700, then I'll be bullish on Bitcoin on the shorter time frame. Just 22,700 is a book profit targets to take within the market. As you can see, we have a bearish trend line over here. We already broke that bearish trend line at the price of 21,300, and that's when altcoins decided to move back up quite a bit from that level, having that euphoria feeling on altcoins pumping on 15 to 10 or even 20% increase. The question is, might we come down from here? I'm not seeing any bearish trend line forming within the relative strength index within the 4-hour time frame. So it still seems to move up. I'm not seeing any bearish trend line forming within the stochastic relative strength index, but I'm seeing a pump back up. So the question is, let me look at the open interest flow to see, are we also relating with the open interest flow within the markets? Oh, so apologies. Yeah. Are we on the open interest market? Let's see, is it relating with what is happening currently? So if you look at the open interest, seems also it's also rising at this point. That was quite correlating, came back down, and then you're having a retest back up. So this seems to be a joining pump. But remember, what funny thing that you're seeing right now, we are seeing a bearish trend line on open interest, but you're seeing a parabolic pump within BTC. It's happening on the inverse side. So just be careful with what is happening currently. You might never notice happen, but this seems to be a mini pump of a bull trap, just a mini pump of a bull trap. It might be a bull trap of 2 months, it might be a bull trap of 1 month, or even a week, or even a day. But you can see you are pumping back up, but the open interest flow is now going down. So as it was going down, we were pumping back up. So this seems to be a bull trap within the market on Bitcoin. I'll likely be careful, especially at the double top, and probably wait for a retest at $20,000. If it doesn't, I'll wait for it to break the $21,700 level on Bitcoin. If I'm looking on Bitcoin at a 1-hour time frame, then I will say it's quietly bouncing off from that bullish trend that we'll be talking over, as you're seeing a stagnating open interest flow. As you can see within a stochastic relative strength index, we've seen a downturn within the relative strength index. You're not seeing any downturn within the markets. So what will I say? What I will say at this point is you're not forming any bearish momentum, but are moving back up. open interest quite stagnant, but Bitcoin's price is moving up even within a 1 hour time frame. I'll start being careful at these prices, that this might be a bull trap. Then we might test the $19,000 level immediately, then we pump back up, or we might test the $18,000, $19,000 level, then we pump back up immediately. So be careful, book your profits if you want long. On the altcoins that I did analysis on, I'm hoping you're able to book your profits, but I normally give analysis of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and also a bit of some Cardano and SHIB. So right now, this might seems to be a bull trap. I'm not saying it's a confirmed bull trap, but this seems to be a bull trap for Bitcoin. I'm not saying that if it's a person, this will be bullish, but just be careful, guys. The double top is over here within also the 1 hour time frame. The double top is over here within the 4 hour time frame, and you might have that crash down to 19K to have a bit of some retest, reset, then head back up. And that's why you're seeing also the Bitcoin dominance is quietly moving, drastically going down from a level of 48.69%. It's now at 43.43%. We are moving down drastically. That means a lot of majority of individuals are now heading over to altcoins. And this data clearly shows you that this might not be the bottom of Bitcoin. As the Bitcoin dominance is quietly going down to even a level of 34%. We need to wash these altcoins down, because most people are now investing on altcoins rather than Bitcoin. So we need to have that retest back up for altcoins to have a dominance of even above 50% on the averagely. So we passed that level of support that I was talking about within the 4 hour time frame of 44.06% of Bitcoin dominance. And as you can see, immediately we broke that, it came back down drastically. Whenever we lose the support, we have an immediate back down drastically. And that's exactly what happened. And after this huge support over here, we pumped from 44% to 46.5% within the markets. So one was the last low of the Bitcoin dominance that we can check on. Let's check out within the 1 day time frame. When was the last low? The last low was at 40%. So Bitcoin dominance is heading back to that low of 40% that it was before. And that means altcoins haven't been washed out. So we still have a long way to move within the bear market. Just signal saying that, because if we can have the Bitcoin dominance currently being at 43%, imagine within 2 years with the altcoin season, what will be the Bitcoin dominance? It might be 20% or 30%. And that's why we need a bit of some flash on those altcoins. Then we can start having a pump of Bitcoin and Ethereum only. Then altcoins will follow in later. So majority of individuals are heading over to altcoin. That means the bottom is not yet in. Now, if I move over to the 1 day time frame of Bitcoin, if I move over to the 1 day time frame of Bitcoin, what I would like to say is bit. So what I would like to give on those all these indications is that, first of all, if you can look at the chart over here, it seems quite messed up on the 1 day time frame. Huh? So if I'm checking the pattern over here, I'm seeing a downward turn, but I'm seeing a bullish turn appearing on the 1 day time frame. Huh? So if you can break this bearish momentum over here within the 1 day time frame, I'll be bullish on Bitcoin, but just on the shorter time frame. Look at the drop that you had from here. From 2022, we had a bit of some break over here. Okay, so you normally have breakouts, pump, down, breakout. So you might have another breakout up here, then come down drastically. But I'm not expecting a huge pump of the market compared to the pump that you had from 30K to 69K. We won't have that huge of a pump. So what I would like to say, yes, the bottom might not yet be in, but you might have that drastic down within the market, and you're seeing an inverted pattern happening within the market, and you're having a huge open interest money flow index also happening within the market on BTC on the 1 day time frame. Let's keep it on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we are still seeing the downward pattern in the market. Also, the open interest is quite weak. There isn't much smart money coming in the market, and we formed that W formation over here. broke the support at that W formation, came back down. We went below our previous all-time high of $17,000, and now people are saying we're not past that. So the next huge support within the weekly time frame on the zones that I can be able to make it as my trend line is, first of all, you're having huge one at 19,356, and then you're having another one at let me keep that and move that. We're having another one at 13,500 is another support. So this was the previous all-time high for BTC, and then we'll have another support over here at 13,500 and 500. So if we break the support level of 21,000, no, the support level of 19,000 to 17,000 at the previous support, this will now become our resistance, and then this will become our support. And then what we'll be talking of, we'll be talking of this being our demand zone over here. This will be our demand zone, and then we'll have a fill out over here. We'll have a fill out of the demand zone as this zone. This will be our demand zone. All of these will be our demand zone. Okay. All of these will be our demand zone over here. So quite something to look at on the longer time frame of BTC. This is our demand zone from this price to this price. So be careful on this demand zone. This might be good entries if we are able to drop to this level. Just might, not will, might be good entries. That is on Bitcoin. So I'm going to give another analysis on Ethereum. So with Ethereum, same thing happening, same thing happening. So with Ethereum, we are having a bit of just some issues over here, not having any open interest over here. But with Ethereum, we have had that huge dump since it's an altcoin. So we had a huge support at 1,224 over here. No, I'm not going to use that channel. Let me use this. So we had that huge support over here. We had the previous all-time high at $1,400, so we were able to break below it, and currently we are below it because Ethereum is an altcoin. Ethereum is an altcoin. So gaps to fill out within Ethereum as the minimum target should be on a level of $731 is another level to look at the price of $731, where this liquidity was being grabbed over here, came back down. So there's much liquidity happening over here on the price of Ethereum. And within the 1 week time frame, I will say this is a nice demand zone actually to look at. This is a nice demand zone for Ethereum actually to look at. Here, this is a nice demand zone to start doing DCA. DCA meaning dollar cost average. So you can start dollar cost average on this amount under Ethereum to keep that note over there. So this is the demand zone for Ethereum. And then we'll move on the daily time frame. It's really quite low. On the daily time frame, we are seeing a high purchase of Ethereum. We formed a bullish trend line over here within Ethereum. We formed a bullish trend line within Ethereum over here. Then we simply completed that reversal over here of Ethereum relative strength index. Came back down from that point of 24. So we broke it just recently. We just broken it just recently. Let me delete this. So we've just broken it just recently. By recently, I mean with the mini pump that we've had. So this bearish trend line has now been broken exactly. We wait for that bounce and then we pump back up. Remember, we had euphoria during March where we pumped from 2,517 to 3,609. Then you had that immense drop. We were quite low on the relative strength index. Now we are pumping back up, broke that bearish trend line, and then we started pumping back up. Look at the same chart pattern, the same chart pattern like this. Look at what it did. Price came from the lows of $2,000 to $3,607. But now, as you can see, we have a bit of an M formation over here, then pump. And that's the same thing that I'll be talking to you guys about. M formation. After that M formation, within that M formation, you can also have a W formation. As you can see, we pumped, that M formation pumped. Yes, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, and then up. On this completion rate, we had a W formation, up, down, up, and then we came back down. Yes. So we formed on the left shoulder side within the market, we formed lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Simple as that. That is what we formed within the market compared to this structure over here. We were on a bear market. And the same thing over here, we might also be forming the lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Left shoulder, right shoulder. But on this, we are in the middle. So within the left shoulder, we form the W formation. So we can also have another W formation over here, where we'll have a bit of some pump, dump, pump, dump, and then pump. So whenever the market makers do this kind of idea, they're trying to grab some liquidity. So there's much liquidity to be grabbed within this point. So whenever you pump, you'll start going long. Then you dump from 3,063, we dump to $2,500. That's around a 20% decrease. We dump, they've grabbed some liquidity, and then we pump up again, they grab some liquidity from the shorts, and then that's when again we come back down. So that's what happens within the market, within the grabbing of liquidity. So I'm going to talk about grabbing of liquidity within BTC on just any time soon after I'm finishing with this Ethereum. So within Ethereum also you have seen you're quite high within the 4-hour time frame. It seems like you're almost being overbought and you're seeing an inverted forming pattern within the market. So currently investing on altcoins like Ethereum or Bitcoin seems quite risky. I'm not going for it. I rather wait a bit for maybe a bit of some retracement or a retest, and then I'll be able to get into the market. So if I'm moving with this over here, I would like to say that we are having a bit of some grabbing liquidity over here. There's some liquidity that wants to be grabbed over here. You will become an exit liquidity over here. There's a bit of some liquidity being grabbed over here. Okay. Now, in this pattern above this, let me delete this drawing over here. As you can see, we are now about to touch that double top. Let me remove that indicator. So over here, I would like to say that there's an exit liquidity on this zone. There is a high possibility there's an exit liquidity. Okay, there seems to be an exit liquidity on this zone. Let me fill out the zone so that you can all see clearly. I'm trying to bring the pattern up. Yes. So within these zones, there seems to be an exit liquidity. Okay, there seems to be an exit liquidity within this zone. So please be careful up from here. There seems to be an exit liquidity that might happen from the market. We might complete that W formation by going back to $19,000 or $19,500 to fill back the form of 20K, or maybe have a retest to 18,850 before we pump back up. So be careful within the zones that we might be looking at. So be sure that you're not an exit liquidity. So at this point, I'm expecting you to close your long position. And then apart from that, I'm hoping that you've also booked some profits. Wait for the retest of the candle to see what's happening within the market, what's happening on the macro structure and the microstructure of the market. So you shouldn't want to be an exit liquidity. Wait for that retest to come back down, have a retest to 20K, or even you can bounce from this zone. We need to also to see if you can have a bounce from this bearish trend line, or maybe you might break down on this bearish trend line, head much lower, or pump above it and then start pumping up, and that's why we'll start forming the bullish trend line. So over here we are having the bearish trend line, but I can draw also a bullish trend line of the market structure over here. So we need to have a bit of some bounce, So if you can have a bounce to the price of maybe 21K over here, or if you can break this down, then you're having going back lower to $19,500 as a target, and also $18,850 as a target. But if you're also able to bounce from this bullish trend that it has formed, then we'll move back up. So it's just broken right now. Don't be bullish as of now. Wait for the retest to see if it will retest that bullish trend line, that bearish trend line, and then we pump back up above the market. Be careful out there with shorting the market and longing the market as of now. There's a lot of euphoria within the market. If I'm looking at a coin like Cardano, that is ADA, if I'm looking at a coin like ADA, and I would like to say with Cardano, the chart doesn't seem that bullish. It didn't have that huge spike within the market. So we've had that bullish momentum over here. We've had a bit of a completion of the double of an M formation, fall up, fall a bit, just didn't move below it, then pumped back up. That isn't bad. This is a healthy pattern, a simple impulsive pattern happening within the market on the 4-hour time frame. And I would like to say this momentum but doesn't look bullish. Cardano doesn't have enough volume to simply pump it above to say that we are bullish on Ethereum on the shorter time frame. But the huge support of Ethereum we are having is at a support level of 0.4532. That's why you should keep your stop loss on the 4-hour time frame. So you can have a retest back down to the 0.532, and that will be just a 10% decrease. Then you move back up, because the funny thing I've seen today in the market is that we've seen altcoins pumping too much. I'm not expecting you to go long right now on altcoins, especially unless there's a specific altcoin you'll want to go long and short on. But generally, I won't advise you guys to start going long on altcoins. It seems quite risky going long on altcoins as of now. So don't try to go long on altcoins. Wait for a bit of some retest. You may never know. Monday we might start dumping on Tuesday. Wait for that retest to come back down. Then you can be able to pump back up in the market. So retest, then we might pump back up in the market. That is on ADA. But the good thing about ADA, it broke its long-term bearish trend line over here. I'm trying to make it. Okay, my mouse is kind of shaking, so apologies for that. So if you can be able to break, if you can see immediately we broke this trend line over here. We had this large vector candle, but there isn't any other candle that was able to engulf it coming down. Then we formed another pattern moving up, but there wasn't that red vector candle coming down compared to the previous green vector candle that we had over here. That could be an engulfing pattern appearing over here, surpassing the previous green vector candle, and that's why we went back down, had that retest of 0.45, then pumped back up. So when you're going long over here and you closed your position, you provided an exit liquidity, came back down, went short from here, you provided the exit liquidity, pump back up, you might provide another exit liquidity, come back down, you might be providing another exit liquidity, and that's where, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having a W formation. Okay, that's why we'll be having a W formation, and then we pass a huge resistant line of Cardano at the price of 0.50. You can see the W formation I'm talking of. Up, down, up, retest, up. Doesn't have to mean to touch the 0.45, but also a touch of even 0.47 or 46 can also be a nice entry to get onto Cardano, depending on the macro and micro bullish or bearish sentiments within the markets. That is ADA, and I like to look at ADA within the 4-hour time frame. And next up, we are having Shiba Inu. I like to do it as the last one. Shiba dog. Wow, that red vector candle over here, yeah, meme coins definitely, yeah. So with Shiba Inu, I like to look at points there, looking for a retest over there, probably at 0.0010 as a retest, just on the retest, because on of here, I'm looking as if we are that on that demand zone over here and on that demand zone over here. So over here, we are having a demand zone of within the orange line, that's a demand zone for Shiba. If you're able to break this demand zone over here, then that will seem of a bullish momentum. But on the worst case scenario, if you're able to fall on a price of 0.009, I will say that all those that purchased through this vector candle are now coming off their markets, and then you'll have a bit of some liquidity, people running away from that price. That will be around a 20% decrease, forming that formation, then we pump back up. So these are nice demand zone for Shiba. So if you're able to break down, especially if you're able to break down below 0.0009, that will be bullish, because all that margin, all that liquidity that came out from 0.009 as the two large vector candles over here, then also we move sideways, then continue moving up, back up, they will have exited their liquidity. So that means you want exit liquidity to the market maker of Shiba Inu, and then they'll sell at the top currently, leave your bags, then they rag you down to the 0.009. They might be getting another entry at 0.009, then you pump back up and then pass the resistance line of 0.0011. So yes, Shiba Inu is quite high within the 4-hour time frame. All altcoins are high within the 1-hour time frame. I wouldn't want to touch any altcoin as of now, but going long. But I can go short on altcoins, but not financial advice of the market. That is on Shiba Inu within the 4-hour time frame, and within the 1-day time frame, depending on the macro and micro bullish sentiment and bearish sentiment within the market, we are still seeing highs of the 1-day time frame. We have not seen that thrill of the market. That means thrill of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the altcoin euphoria. But the Bitcoin dominance came back down. That means there's a bit of some thrill on altcoins. So I'll wait for some bit of some retest just next week on altcoins. Then we pump back up. So the advice that I would like to give you after I've done that formation on Ethereum, I'll go back to Bitcoin. This is the part where you need to listen carefully. There's an exit liquidity at that point, and I believe there seems to be an exit liquidity. What are we hearing within the market? So not hearing any news that is coming up within the markets, right? Within the month. Or let me say within the week. Okay. We have seen Ukraine joining the EU, European Union. I don't know if that's true, that's not yet confirmed, but there's some indication that yes, they are joining. And then another issue that you're also having is there isn't any data that is coming out, maybe a bit of some inflation data, or maybe the labor market came down but it was a bit low, crashed down the market just a bit, then we pumped back up. Now, what will the market maker do? The market maker will wait on the amusement of the news. There is a bearish market, there's a bearish sentiment outside there, then they'll drag you down from the price of $21,500 to even the price of $19,000. That's what they'll try. They'll try to find any excuse to bring down the market. And what do? They pay bloggers to do that. Look at, for example, you've been hearing miners are now sending their bitcoins off from cold wallets onto exchanges. Why? Why are they doing that? They're doing that as a price of an exit liquidity within the markets. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to scare off people to move their bitcoins off the cold wallet, go to your Bitcoin, sell. And that's what the miners have been doing all along. They've been selling their Bitcoin, but right now they have stopped. Why? They've stopped immediately we arrived at $19,000. So just to create a bit of some fun. It was also just to try to make Bitcoin miners try to sell their BTC. So if they create some FUD and you've had miners are selling, especially when you had the FUD of China banning Bitcoin, miners were selling their Bitcoin. And when miners sold their Bitcoin, what happened in the market? We had that drastic down on the market from 69K to 30K as a huge support. But when they stopped selling, we had that huge pump from 30K to back to 69K. What does that tell you? That tells you to please be careful with the exit liquidity. The market maker is trying to grab the liquidity. They're the ones that are forming the patterns. You're not forming your patterns within your TA. Those are the technical analyses. They are the ones forming their pattern with their technical analysis. So please be careful not to be able to become an exit liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. That's the gameplay that the market maker will try to liquidate you at all positions, either bearish or bullish. And if you start closing your positions, you're going long, you're being rate, you're going short, you're being rate, you're also providing more liquidity to them until you have zero capital funds within the market. And that's the advice that I'll leave you with. So take care, have a blessed weekend. Cheers. We'll meet each other when the market changes, but those are the ranges to look at. So peace.